Welcome back, friends. This is part 2 of our video on using our warping kit. It's confession time. The reason why this is in 2 parts is because I forgot thread to demonstrate with. I had to go get it. So here we are. I'm going to be just using a ball of yarn here for demonstration purposes so you can see it. Obviously, you would be using whatever your favorite beading thread is. I know there are as many ideas about that as there is of anything. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and I've added a few marks here to help align my blocks on either side, and that's just going to help make sure that this warping bar is held level while we're adding our thread to our loom. Okay, so I'm going to confess also, confession number 2 for this video. I am just about as new to using a continuous warping kit as you guys are. I confess it took as long as it did partially to release this kit because it was brand new to me and I had to figure out how to do it before I could figure out how to make a kit for it. So I know that I'm probably going to do something wrong. I'm probably going to do something that you all think, oh my gosh, she's crazy, she'll learn. You're right, we will. We're all on the curve somewhere and learning this beautiful craft. So if you have a better way, please share it, just like everybody else. Please share it. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and add this. Once again, we're going to use this threaded rod to space out our threads. And instead of wrapping around the screws that are on this tension bar, this time, of course, we're going to wrap around this warping bar. One little hint that I do want to give for you is when you're getting this set up and ready to go, just make sure your screws are way out of the way. You want to tuck them back in between where your thread path is going to go so that they don't hang up your thread. You want to keep them out of the way. So one trick that was given to me to warp your thread, to warp your loom, is to turn it on its side. I thought it was crazy when she first said it. My dear friend Nadal, I thought you were crazy, but then I tried it, and you guys, she's serious. It makes it so much easier. So what you're going to do to get this warping going is you're just going to take your thread and you're going to tie it to this warping bar. Just a simple knot, nothing fancy here. All you need to do is hold it in place. This warping bar is going to serve as your turning point. Every time you come around this loom, you're going to turn around and go back the other direction. This is going to be your U-turn. Every time you come to this warping bar, do a U-turn, go back the other way, okay? The other thing that I find very key here, and I'm still new, I'm still learning how to figure out the best way to do this, but you want to keep this spaced evenly because if you've got more thread on this side than you do on this side, it's going to want to hold your bar wonky. Remember that once we're done adding this thread, I personally take these bars off and this is going to float free. And that's what's going to allow us to increase the amount of thread that we have to work with. That's what gives us the ability to warp once and weave twice. That's where we're getting all that. So you want this to be held as level, as horizontal, as even as possible. So we just went and we tied this on, and I'm just going to start wrapping. I'm going to wrap it all the way around. Once again, we're going to use the grooves on our threaded rod to hold our thread in place. And I've gone all the way around, and now I'm coming back to this warping bar. So I'm going to wrap my thread around it, and I'm going to go back the other way, back the direction that I came from. And I'm going to go across my threaded rod, across my loom to the other threaded rod, and back. And once again, I've reached my warping bar. I'm going to wrap it around, do my U-turn, go back the other way. And you can see that by using this method, you're actually doubling the amount of thread that you have to work with for any given project or any given 2 projects. I've got my queen is all wrapped, it's all warped. I've got 1 project on it already, and I'm so excited to test this theory of warping it once and weaving twice. But as you can see, back and forth, back and forth. You know the drill for everything else when it comes to this. You just keep wrapping. And of course, now I've come to a big knot in my yarn. So I'm gonna, just so that you guys can see it from another angle, I'm gonna turn this around. Okay, so now I'm coming to this warping bar. I'm gonna go around the bar. Bear with me as my ball of yarn has decided to come just about undone. I've gone around the bar and back the way I came. I'm gonna keep going. Coming around this side, coming to my bar, and back around the way I came. Just like always, you just warp one extra thread, then you have bead count in your rows. Eva, can you give me a scissors, please? So then once you've got as many threads on there as you need, simply cut it and tie it. Thank you, Eva. My beautiful daughter, Eva, everybody. So again, nothing fancy for the knot here. I just tie a simple knot. It always takes longer when you have an audience, doesn't it? Always. So now that we have our thread, or in this case, our yarn, on our loom, now we're just about ready to get things really going here. Now's the time when you get to use this tensioning stability bar. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take these side blocks back off of my loom. Like I said earlier, I personally prefer to take them off and get them out of the way. The fewer things I have for my working thread to catch on, the better. I just carefully take these off. These are going to be a tight fit initially. As you work with your loom, they will loosen up. So now you can see that it's loose. My thread is loose here, but that's what this is for. You simply turn this out. I had it placed forward. I'm just going to turn it towards the back now. And then you tighten down your wing nuts on either side. And that is going to provide the tension that you need to work your piece. As you can see, my warping bar is nice and stable here. Or it's nice and horizontal, excuse me. And now that I've adjusted this tensioning stability bar, my threads are nice and tight here. Now, why do we do this? Why do we do this crazy exercise? Let me show you. So if I have been working, I personally prefer to work from bottom up. That's just what is the most comfortable for me. So, for instance, if I have been beading, I've worked all the way up to here, and if I reach this point on my loom, maybe it's the midpoint for you, maybe it's closer to the bottom, wherever it is, wherever you start feeling like you're reaching more than you want to be reaching, or it starts to feel more uncomfortable than you're happy with, that's where the beauty of this thing comes in. When you have got this much work or whatever, you simply loosen these wing nuts, release a bit of the tension on this stability bar, and you can adjust this warping bar. If you move the warping bar down, you can see how the work on your loom will move up. If you move this warping bar up to the back, the work on your loom will move down. So for myself, I like to work from the bottom up, so I would move my fell line, or the topmost row that I'm working on, I would move it down to the bottom. Once you've done that, you simply tighten your stability bar once again and tighten those wing nuts back down, and you keep right on going. There you have it. You can see that by using the warping bar, you make this a much more comfortable beading experience because you can always keep your beadwork right at the most comfortable level for you. You can also see that you have doubled the amount of thread that you're able to use. You not only have just this amount of thread, you've got all of this here that can be worked into another project. For instance, here is my queen loom. And you can see, as you can see, I've put my tensioning stability bar in the back corner here. That's just where it's the most comfortable for me. And I have one project on here already. And now I have moved it onto my loom so that I can work a whole nother project, if not 3. So it just really makes the process of beading a whole lot easier when you can thread or warp once and do multiple projects. One more example of how we're using this. Here I have it set up on our hat band bundle. Artwork on this loom was proudly completed by my daughter Eva. We'd love to see how you guys personalize your bead looms if you do them. For those of you who don't know, Kakamora is from Moana, right, Eva?
Yep.
Yeah. So here we have, once again, my tensioning stability bar is placed right here in the middle. With this loom, you have an infinite number of possibilities on where you put this one. But once again, I've only, as you can see, I like to work from the bottom up. Once again, I'll be just about ready to adjust. I might hit myself in the head. I apologize. I never use it backwards like this. But you just go ahead and you loosen this tensioning stability bar, adjust your warping bar, and you move your fell line where your work is at. Once you're done, you tighten that back down and you re-engage that tension on your threads. So there we have it. If you guys have any questions, if you are running into issues or problems, we would love to hear about it. But we hope that this warping kit is going to work amazing for you. We know that it's something that we're very excited about, and we hope you guys will love it. So we'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.